Northland Outfitters, located in Germfask, Michigan, provides outfitting services for canoeing and biking trips throughout the area, and owner Tom Kenny would be our guide for this fantastic trip. I was excited and couldn't wait to get started. Hi Tom, how you doing?
Hello Tom, great. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. We're here in Germfask, Michigan. We're at Northland Outfitters. I'm with Tom Kenny right now. Tom's the owner here. And we're going out today to do a little bit of canoeing, kayaking, going down the river and having a good time. We have brought a few people with us for this trip, so we're going to come in here. Now, you've got a whole outfitting set up here. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your business and what you actually do?
Well, it's a beautiful day to be on the river today. We've got a 4-hour trip that leaves from here and goes downstream through the wildlife refuge, the Seney Wildlife Refuge, and that's the trip that we're going to do today. We also have a 2.5-hour trip where we drive people upriver, drop them off, and they finish up down here.
Okay.
But the wildlife refuge trip is by far the most popular, so we'll do that one.
Okay, now this is something that people that are up visiting the area can come over here and spend just a few hours during the day to take a trip down the river and see some of the beautiful scenery, maybe see some wildlife along the way?
Yeah, people in the area either staying at motels or some of the resorts in the area come over here, spend a better part of a day either canoeing the river or renting mountain bikes from us and riding the trails in the wildlife refuge.
That's right, you've got mountain bike here too. So that's nice, a lot of things to do here. Now, getting on the river, we've got canoes, kayaks, what does everybody use?
Canoes are still just a little bit more popular than kayaks, but kayaks are increasing in popularity every year. We've got double kayaks and single kayaks. Single kayaks seem to be the most popular. But canoes are great if you get somebody that's too small to handle a boat by themselves. They can ride in the middle and mom and dad can paddle from the bow and the stern.
It's a good point. That some people are experienced, some are not. Can a pretty inexperienced person come in here and actually do this?
Yeah, it's a fairly gentle river. People with no experience at all do just fine. People with some experience or even experts still find that it's an interesting enough river that they're entertained as well.
Okay, we've got, like you said, a beautiful day here today. I'm anxious to get going. What do you say we set up our gear and get started?
All right, we'll go down to the ramp and we'll get launched.
We loaded the canoes and kayaks for a day on the river. We left the launch and we were on our way. The day was gorgeous and the water was warm as we paddled our way into the Seney. I would start the day in a 2-man kayak with professional photographer Steve Kopecki. Well, we've been at the Seney National Wildlife Refuge now. As you can see, it's beautiful going down through here. You can tell it's not real deep. You can see ripples in the water. That usually means that there's something underneath and probably rocks and stuff that are in here.
Yeah, rocks and logs.
And I see we've got a lot of sweepers that come out into the river or down trees. So you have to work at it a little bit, but it's really easy to control. You can almost drift this kind of a river. That's what makes it nice for the families because you don't have to work hard. You can come out here and almost just steer and just coast down the river. So it's a really nice canoe trip down here, and you're getting into a wild area, so there's a good chance of seeing some wildlife as you're out here. That's what we're hoping for anyway. As we pedaled further down the river, you could see the excitement on the kids' faces and a little bit of fear on Alex's face. But that would soon be gone as he became more comfortable with his surroundings. He was a trooper, and by the time the day was done would be asking when he could come back and do it all again. On the other hand, Shelby was the ever-alert one who would spot a downed tree or a blue heron taking flight. As we paddled down this river, I couldn't help but be in awe of the splendor of Mother Nature. There were towering pines as far as the eye could see, and the only noise you would hear is the paddle dipping into the water or the cry of a lonely loon. I treasure these moments knowing they will come to an end all so soon. Hey, well, you get a pretty good view of the river, I'm sure by now. You can see there's a lot of downed trees, and it's keeping us working a little bit, but it's a lot of fun. Tom, tell us, what do you normally tell people to bring along that they won't have here at the Outfitters?
We have a list of items on the back of the map that we give people when they sign up for the trip that includes things that they should have with them. Should have a dry bag for some extra clothes, should wear a hat, sunglasses, maybe a strap so they don't lose their glasses if they do tip over. Beverages, snacks, sunblock, bug spray, occasionally rain gear, but
certainly don't need that today.
That's for sure.
Now, how deep does the river get as we go along here?
It's a sandy bottom river, so the depth varies tremendously. It could be as little as less than a foot on the inside of the bend, and it could be as much as 12 feet deep on the outside or where the river's flowing or on a log that's flowing.
Now, do you get many people through here that will fish?
Yeah, it's a popular river to fish in. There's some pike and walleye down here, and in the spring when the water's still cold, you might find a few brook trout.
Okay.
They wander down from the Fox River that merges in upstream, which is a river that we send canoes on for fishermen that are serious about the brook trout fishing, but they do come down here too.
Well, as I mentioned before, this is a great place to bring the family up to. It really keeps them entertained as they go down the river. That's one of the nice things. I know these kids up here have been sitting in this boat and they're not saying a word and they're just enjoying and looking around. It's also safe. We've come into a lot of areas where there's down trees, and it's just, you maneuver around them. Sometimes you run into them. It's not tippy. You don't have to worry unless you're messing around of going into the drink here. This is really pretty easy to handle. And it's a great way to bring the family up, introduce the kids to it, introduce the wife to it. You can come down here, you can bring a picnic lunch if you wanted, and just pull off. We've come across some areas, some nice little sandy areas where you can pull off. As a matter of fact, we could see where there was other people that did just that. And just pull over and have a little picnic lunch and really enjoy being in the area and just the quietness that you don't get around home. Well, it was time for a little lunch break, and we would pull off at one of the sandy areas that I talked about. It would give us a chance to stretch our legs, and the kids could do a little exploring from the land instead of the water. Well, Tom, if I'm not mistaken, now you were mentioning this is about the halfway point that we're on that 4-hour trip that goes down through here.
Yeah, it's a 4-hour trip from our place down through the Wildlife Refuge. We're at a little sandy beach just above Pine Creek, which is the halfway point.
Okay, now you said it was marked somewhere. Did I miss a sign when you were coming in?
We haven't gotten to Pine Creek yet.
Okay,
we'll see the sign shortly.
Okay, we did stop here because it was just a nice spot to come over and stretch our legs because we got a nice sandy area here.
And, it's a good spot. Kids get out and play a little bit, stretch their legs. Oftentimes they'll stop and do a little swimming here. And we can allow extra time for families with kids so that they can do that. It normally takes about 4 hours, but we can set up our pickup time to allow an extra hour or extra hour and a half for people if they get an early enough start in the day, and they can spend as much time out here as they want. When it was time to hit the water, Tom jumped in the canoe with me, and Steve went with Al and the kids. I wanted to learn more about this trip, and I knew Tom was the one that could help. In our camera boat with Denny was Al Weisinger. Al was doing the canoeing as Denny did the shooting. Al is a veteran canoer and in his 50s and is still as fit as a young man. He still makes time for the most grueling canoe race in North America, the Asaba River Canoe Marathon. Al, thanks for your help. We couldn't have done this trip without you. Sometimes it's just not good enough to look from side to side. Sometimes you need to look up to take in all the splendor. The look of the river continued to change, but the one thing that never changed was the beauty that awaited us around every corner. I think Al was being pushed by the kids for going too slow. With them cheering him on, he pushed ahead, leaving us in the rear. You can hear the fun in their voices. What a wonderful end to a wonderful day. Northland Outfitter is a full-service outfitter, so don't worry if you forget something. They will have everything you need, whether it's for a 4-hour trip or just a souvenir from your trip. We want to thank Tom and Sally Kinney for being such wonderful hosts. This will be a trip that we'll all remember for a long time to come.